right?
So I'm so excited to have Teri Dee here today. She is the Menopause Leadership Champion, and she's the founder of Fork and Fine. Welcome, Teri.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So this is the mompreneur method, the millionaire mom method, I say. I always like to, with these little interviews, leave our listeners with something that will inspire them, something to teach them, and something to help us all grow together. That is my goal in life, is that we all rise together and that we build each other up along the way, right? That is my hope for the future. Yes, I'm claiming it. So, Teri, to start us off, I love hearing people's origin story, right? I would love to hear if you felt like there was one moment. I think I probably know the story, but maybe there's a different story. But maybe that spark that inspired you to be like, "Oh my God, I gotta tell the world about this. I need to make it my mission." So I'd love to hear from you. What was that spark for you?
Yeah, well, I think for all of us, right, it can be quite difficult juggling motherhood if you're in corporate life, or if you're an entrepreneur life, right? And I think, like many women, I was showing up to work, a very
Mm-hmm.
full professional armor, but quietly I was battling the chaos, right, of menopause, brain fog, exhaustion, and my body that didn't really anymore know. Well, my mind didn't know what my body was doing anymore, right?
Yes. Didn't feel the same.
And so if, if I can really go back to a moment where I actually knew this was a problem, it was I was at work. So I was working in full time in a corporate career. I'm a strategist, so I was working with people in my organization. I was presenting my story, which was a quarterly report for that year. Something that I knew I had done this many times, right? I was the one who created the slides. I'm running the division. I know what I'm talking about. But at that moment, I just felt heat rising up
Mm,
in my neck.
mm.
Words went all blurry. I didn't know what I was talking about. The words were
Oh my
swimming
gosh.
on the on the slide presentation. I couldn't form words anymore,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
I'm looking around the room, and people are looking at me, and I'm feeling, you know, this is very hot. And I'm like
Yeah.
asking everybody,
Are
is
you hot?
anybody else hot? And no, no one else around me was hot. It was just me.
Oh,
So I'm
how
like
terrible.
I'm in this oven, and yet I'm the
Yeah.
only one who's melting, and no one else. And I'm in a
Oh,
male-dominated environment, and
yes.
it just felt very strange to me that I'm in this body, I'm feeling this way, and I have no idea what's going on, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So that's where it started for me. And then I'm talking to other women. This is afterwards. I'm talking to other women. I'm going through this experience, and I find out there's quite a lot of us in the environment,
Yes.
right? And so then I started my business from all the research that I was doing, and I just felt that there was a gap in the market, right?
Yes.
Women who just needed to know where to go, where next. I'm feeling like this, I'm
Yes.
not feeling like myself. Where do I go next? And that's
Yes.
really what led me to start this business. And so it wasn't about chasing freedom at first. It was more about survival and purpose, right? I wanted to help these women who felt like me, right? Either broken, and sometimes you also feel like past our time a bit.
Yeah.
Um, and especially, because menopause is usually equated with decline, right? And
Yes.
and there was just so
The
much
end.
more I felt I
Yeah.
could do. And so that's how Fork and Fine was born. And so it's
I
just
love
that
it.
space for professional women to thrive through their menopause with confidence, clarity, and calm.
I love it. I love it. And I don't know if you can share with us. I've kind of always wondered, what is fork and fine? Does that define something for you, or what is fork and fine?
Yes. So when I initially started my journey, and I created this Fork and Fine, it was fork because for me, food is the essence of where you get your energy. It's where
Yeah.
your moods, there's so much that can be defined by what you eat.
Yes.
And what I found is that in a lot of the symptom management, or in the way I come to the day, if I eat well and I eat at the right times, I find that my energy is restored and my brain fog is lessened and so forth.
Love it.
So fork really signified that for me.
Yeah.
The fine is really how you're going to feel afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So fork and fine for me just sounded like just do the right thing and you will
feel better.
feel better,
I love that.
Also, it was a bit tongue in cheek, because if you say it really fast, that's exactly how I feel, right? Fork and fine.
I never thought of that. Oh, that's so cute. I
I thought
love
that was really
really
tongue in
cute.
cheek, and
Yes.
my husband tried to get me to change the name, because he was like, "Do you realize what that means?" I was like, "Oh, that's actually better."
Better. More reason to do it. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's
And
how it
yeah.
stuck.
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's awesome. And so I would love to hear from you. Like, if you could leave women, and I know you have an amazing masterclass that you do periodically. When is the next one coming up, and where can people kind of get in touch with you?
Yeah, I've actually got one coming up on the 21st of November.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So I try and do one every month.
Amazing.
I don't always succeed, but I do try and do one every month. So the next one is on the 21st of November.
Perfect.
And people can always get in touch with me, I think, mainly through my Facebook group. I think that's the best way to connect with me. And my Facebook group is called Pause Perfect. And I'm sure you're going to drop that in the
I will
in the
below.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll make sure the link to your Facebook group, as well as your masterclass, however you want people to get in touch with that. So that'll all be below.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I can attest, right? I've went to your masterclass, and I feel like you have such an amazing way of sharing, your story, as well as tips and tidbits that people can use to really kind of help us all through this. Because I think you're right. There's a complete gap in the discussion, right?
Yeah.
And I know you talk a lot about the workplace. And so I don't know if you want to leave or if you have a few quick little tips that you want to help teach some of our listeners here, what they can take with them for, or what's maybe the first step when you're start noticing these symptoms. How can you, because you're absolutely right. I think once we are in that workplace and we have those and we're dealing with a bunch of men, I think many women don't know what the next step is, or how to navigate that whole thing. So anyway, any tips you want to share?
Yeah. So I always say that when you come to menopause, and many of us don't know we're in menopause, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because sometimes we just don't feel like ourselves.
Right.
And maybe you've just been very tired lately, especially as moms, right?
Yeah.
You've got the kids, you've got life is going on. And I'm sure for many in your audience, they're also entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot going on in your life, and you just feel like you're really run down. You just don't feel like yourself. So for me, for menopause and perimenopause as well, is just to think about where you're at in your cycles. If you've been cycling regularly, right? All of us mainly have kind of like a regular cycle. Your period is coming every 21 days or every 28 days or whatever it is. But suddenly you've seen a change in that. You've seen either a change in the flow, or a change in the frequency, or even a change in the amount that you usually cycle. So that can be an indication that you're in menopause, even if when you go to your doctor, they may not tell you that, right?
Right.
And so you need to just know your body. That's always what I say to women. The best thing is to know your body, because you're the one who's going to be able to tell whether or not something's going on with you. So that's my first thing, is always know where you are, right?
Love that.
And I've got I guess a freebie that I can give out as well, which is really how to have that conversation with your doctor, because I think that's the very first step. Everybody is looking for is, how do I know, right?
Yes.
And so there's certain lab tests that would be beneficial for you to have, also has a baseline for the rest
Love
of
it.
your menopause. So for me, that's always know where you are, right?
Yes, for sure.
Before anything else. And then the second thing for me is then to kind of be clear about what are those symptoms that you have. And so keep a little bit of a journal, right?
Oh, that's a
Just
great idea.
track your symptoms, make sure that you know where you're at in your symptoms as well. And then I think the next step is then to talk to somebody, either somebody like myself who's a menopause champion, or talk to a doctor, talk to somebody who can actually guide you through these things, because I think menopause is also something that's very personal. So
Yeah,
not all of us are going to have the same symptoms. Not all of us are going to have the
so
same
true.
duration. Not all of us are going to go through it the same way. There's some people who, I think 1 in 4 women, they say, go through nothing, right? Then another
Really?
1 in 4 women go through the most, right?
Right.
It's
Oh my gosh.
debilitating, you can't even. Then
Yeah.
the
The rest of
50% that's
us.
in the middle, we go
Yeah.
through something. And it's about how do you manage that something where I
Yeah.
come in, right?
Love
Because
that.
I can just help in helping you to
Work through.
improve this little lifestyle hacks, right? That
Yes.
help us to feel better.
I love that. And you're so right that, talking to a doctor, and you can probably attest to this as well, that I feel like that's really just touching the surface, right? Like, yes, we can look at the labs and yes, we can talk to a doctor, but many times they don't really know how to help some of these smaller symptoms, right? And that's where I feel like someone like you can really come in and help, and from experience as well as all of your research, to figure out, what's going to make me feel better? What's going to make me survive this with, my relationships intact and my job intact and, whatever else, to really
Yeah.
thrive through this, right? Because I
Yeah.
love how you always say it's not an ending, right? It's the
Oh.
start.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean to that point, right? Because I feel like all of these things that are happening to us as women in at this time of life, they're really trying to point you towards something. So something your symptoms are trying to point you towards something. So they're
Yes.
saying to you, could you have a little bit more protein? Could you have a
Mhm.
little bit more fiber? Oh,
Yeah.
maybe you're a little bit too stressed. Could you be a little bit more mindful about 1 or 2 things that you're
Yes.
doing? Could you journal? Maybe you need to ground. Maybe you need to take a walk. Do you
Yes.
have enough
Preparing.
movement? And the other thing as well that I always say with menopause is it's a transition, right? Just as
Yeah.
much as puberty was a transition,
Right.
pregnancy, if you have had kids, is a transition.
Yeah.
Now, menopause is a transition. So we just need to manage it and
Right.
not either ignore it or push through it like it's not happening.
Yes. So true. Yeah. I think that's so valuable. And what do you feel like is your hope for the future, right? What do you hope that with your help, as well as just kind of more talk and more emphasis on menopause, because I feel like we haven't, right? Like, I never talked about it with my mom until she was
Yeah,
older, right? And I
yeah, yeah,
wish I
yeah.
wish it were more out there. So what's your kind of hope for women in the future?
Well, my whole philosophy is I do not want to see one woman have to stop being her best because of menopause.
Yes.
So if you're in the workplace, I don't want our careers to stop.
Yes.
1 in 4 women are leaving their jobs because of menopause.
That is
That's just
crazy to
too many,
me,
right?
right?
It's just too many women. And if you're an entrepreneur, it affects you just as much as it does anybody else,
100%.
right? I mean,
Yes.
100% of women are going to go through menopause. So
Right.
it's really around trying to see how do I manage my menopause in a way that leaves me in a better position than when I came to the menopause.
Mm.
And that for me is my whole mission, is to see women just get through their menopause in a lot in a I guess I want to say a more elegant way
Yes.
than we have in the past, which is either hide or, you know, kind of disappear into the background and suffer
Right.
alone. That's not how it should happen, right? We should
Yes.
go through it in such a way that we're lifting ourselves up, right? Because
Yes.
also at this time, and I mean, menopause can happen at any time from your late 30s up until your 50s. right? And at this time, I feel what we also need to be thinking about is our legacy. What are we
Yes.
building? What are we leaving to the world? And we need to leave this world a lot better than how we found it, right? And I
Exactly.
think there's just, especially today, when you just look around you, there's so much room for that, right?
Yes. So
So
true.
I think that's what we need to do.
Yes, I love that. Awesome. And how do you feel, right? You're a mom. I love talking to moms. I would love to hear, how do you feel like you have incorporated or been inspired by your kids, or how do you feel like your kids help your business, or I don't know, what do you have to say about your kids being a part of your business journey?
Yeah. So I live with my daughter. I've got two kids, but I live with my daughter. My son's older and is moved on. But my daughter has been an integral part of my journey. So when I have my master class, she's there doing all my
Oh,
tech for me,
oh,
right?
that's so amazing. I love that.
So she manages all my tech. She
Oh,
manages all how I show up in the socials. We're
beautiful.
starting TikTok. We haven't yet, but
Oh, good
she's
for
going to
you.
do.
She's going to
She's
help
going to
you.
run
Yeah.
my TikTok page. So
Cool.
those kind of things are actually quite interesting, and
Yeah.
I love it because not only is she being part of my journey and understanding what menopause is for herself, because I feel
Yeah.
I never had this conversation with my mom,
Right.
and if I can have this conversation with her, she knows what's coming.
I love
That's
that.
the one side of it. But the other side of it is she's seeing her mother actually setting up a business, um,
Oh,
showing up every day,
so
trying to do
powerful.
something that
Yeah.
actually she's also inspired that, okay,
I
I
can
can
do
actually
this.
do something, right?
Yes. I love that
Yeah,
so much. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's so important to incorporate our kids, right? Because they are
yeah,
the future and they are our future. So
yeah.
I love that so much. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want our audience to know about you and your work?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about maybe my how I came to actually having this business, all right? And
Yeah.
what are the kind of things that I think when you start a business,
Yeah.
what are the things that you should think about? So,
Yeah.
um, I wanted to talk a little bit about progress over perfection,
Oh,
right?
so important. Yeah.
Because of the way I came up in the world, being in corporate, being a strategist, I was very much, I think, tied to being perfect. I wanted perfect slides. I wanted a perfect system. I wanted everything to be in place. But what I found through this journey is that it's okay not to be perfect, but
Yeah.
just to
Do it.
progress, right?
Yes.
Just the action. So for me, that the alchemy is in that action, right?
Oh,
Just
yes, I love that.
do the thing, okay? Every day, just get up and think, okay, what is it that I have to do today? And do that. Don't try and do it all. Don't
Yes.
try and do it perfectly, but
Yes.
just do it.
Make some moves.
Yeah,
Yes. I love
yeah.
that. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's so important. That's one of my favorite quotes, right? Progress is more important than perfection because messy
Correct.
action, right? And I think you
Yes.
figure things out in the messy action, right? It takes
Correct.
some
Correct.
takes some figuring out and you wouldn't be able to figure it out unless you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. Well, thanks
Yeah.
so
So,
much, Teri. I think that is it for us for today. I'll include all your links below, and I will look forward to your next master class and how much you can help women get through this journey together, right? I think it's important that we have community around this and that we speak more in about, this journey and time for ourselves. So thank you for all that you do.
no, and thank you. I think one of the things as well that's been beneficial to me, I think, is meeting you, Christina, because I
Oh,
think
thank you.
through our interaction and our connection, I think
Yeah.
I've learned so much from what you
Yeah.
teach.
Thank
And
you.
so I really feel that, women helping other women always
Yes.
is useful. So I'm
Yes.
really glad for you.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I really love that, right? I think we can all rise together, right? We help each other, we support each other, and we're all kind of on this journey together. So I'm excited for that. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much. Well, have a great weekend and we'll talk soon.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Bye.
Bye.